doctors of Abbey Research. I'm Dr. Erin.
I'm Dr. Kristen.
And we're here with your socially distanced Good Doctors Diagnose for Monday, May 18th. We're trucking through the month of May. And for today's business GDD, we wanted to use a recent example, as we like to do on our GDDs from the business world, to talk about some ideas that Dr. Kristen and I have been kicking around for the last few weeks as we look at, and as various parts of the country and the world return to some form of work environment on-site places. Here in Western Pennsylvania today, last Friday, we started moving into the yellow phase where more businesses could open and more people could go back to work. So as these rephases happen and rollouts happen, we have some thoughts. TM. So some news last week was that Twitter has decided as a company that any employee can work from home forever. And I just like in my head, I hear the kid from The Sandlot, forever, which is a side note. But we wanted to talk about why we think that might not be the best idea.
We are increasingly concerned with the love affair that big corporations are having with remote work for a couple reasons. One, we hate how they're talking about as though it's like this miracle, like they didn't think that it was going to work. Like, of course it's going to work. People are self-directed and can manage themselves. Like, it's actually not as hard as you think it is.
Yeah, and we think that's a lot to do with generational leadership, and we'll probably talk about that in another GDD. But yeah, that's like, oh my God, we're so surprised that like the internet works and video conferencing works. And we're like,
and people are still productive. Like, a lot of people work. I know we have this, like, people complain about work and they just want to, laze around all day. A lot of humans actually are quite driven by goals and really like to take pride in their accomplishments, and they're not going to screw off on your dime. Like, they're just not.
Yeah.
And if they are, they're already doing it at your office. They're just finding other ways. The number of people I talk to who are like playing Animal Crossing in the bathroom, like.
Yeah, they'll find a way. If they don't want to work, they'll find a way. But most people want a sense of accomplishment. And
we really like ticking things off to-do lists.
Yeah.
Big fan.
Yeah.
So this is a wider conversation for a GDD, but really briefly, we want to say that one of our main concerns is, we have two main concerns. One is that different people work differently, and part of remote working should be part of adaptability to people's different working styles.
Yes.
And not the panacea.
Right.
And two, sometimes you do have to be around a table to make things happen.
Yeah, and I think what's concerned both of us as we talk about this, and we both have very different learning styles and work best in different work environments and situations, and we spend a lot of time talking about it as a result at Abbey Research. But what's concerned us is this idea that remote working is a panacea. It will solve all problems, because for a long time now and a long time in the future, it's not going to be safe for everyone to be back in the work environment that we had pre-pandemic. But that doesn't mean that remote working has solved all your problems, especially when we guarantee you people in your office are on a broad spectrum of personality traits, learning capabilities and needs, energy levels. Like, a lot of people, including Dr. Kristen, in a lot of situations, buzzes off being around people and working around people in the same physical proximity. Mm-hmm. And so there are people in your office that are going to need to sit down at a table or to be in a room to collaborate at their most effective. And it's not the same to do it over Zoom, which we've already talked about.
And just going to throw this out there too, if you thought that your folks who have kids had a hard time when they were in school and had things to do, just wait until they can't send them to summer camp this summer. Yeah. So the next 3 months are going to be even harder than the last 3.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's a very, very good point. A lot of kids who have a privilege enough to have access to internet and resources have been kept busy by school.
That's ending.
Case.
Yeah. So as you are planning, perhaps you're a small business that has the option for remote work. Perhaps you're an essential business that doesn't, and that's kind of a thing. But if you're in a position to kind of strategize the physical location of your employees moving forward in the midst of COVID and then post-COVID, we encourage you to keep in mind that there is no panacea, that there is no solution that's going to work best for all of your people. So the question is, what works best for your organization? And then as you think about that, realize that if you decide that everybody's going to work remotely, that you cannot measure efficiency or workload the same way as you could if extroverts were in the office together. So understand that it's a change, an actual change in the working environment, not just a budget saver.
Yeah, and I mean, that's such a great point to end on, because a lot of people have been touting kind of the benefits of that. You know, less time on the road and your commute, it saves everybody money, it saves, renting office space.
That's all great.
Yeah, and that is all great. But another report I saw about it said, what about all the small businesses that rely on those offices full of people every day?
Yep.
The parking garages, the cafes, the coffee shops, the restaurants, the florists, the card shops, you name it, that are in those centers of industry and commerce. Mm-hmm. If people never go back to work either. So that's another problem to solve for another day. But those are our a little bit extended thoughts for this GDD. And we'll be talking a lot more in the next few months about rethinking the return to work and what that looks like for people in all different kinds of circumstances. But we hope wherever you are in the world, you are as safe and as healthy as possible. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.